Garoppolo. Thrown down. Brian Burns gets there. Spider-Man.
What a pass rush by Burns. See how quickly he got to the edge and got
This is Desmond Johnson on the Bleav and Carolina Panthers podcast, here on the Bleav Podcast Network, the #1 podcast network for professionals. Do you Bleav? If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and rate the show on iTunes. We're available in your favorite directories: iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Luminary, and TuneIn. You can also find us at Bleav.com and at Bleav Podcast on Twitter. And welcome into a brand new edition of the Bleav and Carolina Panthers podcast, hosted by Bleav Podcast Networks. I'm your host, Desmond Johnson, joined by the Carolina Panthers Sports Illustrated beat writer Schuyler, Callihan, and the Panthers all-time leading rusher Jonathan Stewart. You can catch us every week, brand new episodes here on the Bleav Podcast Network. You can actually see the video at youtube.com/@Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and you'll get notifications for when we come on. Right now, we're on a Tuesday schedule, as we're in training camp. Just don't care checking in, saying what's up. Make sure you tell all your Panther friends about us. And like I said before, we're usually about once a week. About Tuesdays where we've been. Loaded show today. I feel like I'm shorter than both y'all. I'm trying to figure out how to get this chair situation going on.
Go ahead and grab you some books, player.
Yeah, I might think I'll put some telephone books underneath me or something. Yeah, it's a loaded Tuesday. Schuyler, fresh from the I guess not so hot fields of Spartanburg today. It was a little bit cooler than it was last week, but he's going to give us a couple of observations from what he's seen out there. I forgot I mentioned to you guys, I pulled some Pat McAfee, which means I'm going to be very, very careful with how I play this, because I don't believe he censors his show at all. So I'm going to have to make sure I've got my finger on the button to stop it. But he was talking about Bryce Young, and I realized that the national media, they're starting to come to where we were, where I mentioned this like maybe a couple of shows ago, where I was like, the thing for me, I'm more surprised I haven't heard anything really bad about Bryce coming out of camp so far, in terms of like, oh, he just stunk it up today, or he didn't know what he was doing, or anything like that. It's been far from it. Like, it literally has been the complete opposite. And I think national media, I'm starting to see now, pick up on why Carolina moved up to #1 to go get Bryce Young. We'll talk a little bit about that. The jersey schedule release is out, so we'll see where Carolina's going to be wearing their jerseys and what color schemes throughout the season. I wanted to get some comments from Jay Stu on players, and do they get hyped for that at all, or is that just kind of like a fan thing? So we'll talk about that a little bit too. Dion Jones signing from previously from Atlanta, give us some linebacker depth. We'll talk about that.
I got something to say about him.
Oh, for Dion. Okay, cool. So we'll get to Dion Jones, and that'll lead us into our conversation of the day to end with favorite Panther linebackers not named Luke Kuechly. I want to kind of get into the history of the Panther linebacking core. There have been many linebackers that have come through this franchise since 1996, and I kind of want to give them some flowers. So we'll get into all that as well. Before we get going, quick word from our sponsors over at BetOnline. BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device today to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. And where we start today is the release of the jerseys, the color schemes for the Carolina Panthers and what they'll be wearing throughout the season. And Stu, I wanted to ask you, as a former player, did you guys get hyped when you found out? Well, actually, let me take that back. Did you guys have a favorite color scheme as a collective, as a player group? Did you guys have a scheme with the Panthers that you preferred wearing over the rest?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, black and silver pants. Black top, silver pants were, my favorite. Make sure your sock game, is nice and tight. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you have, more black than white.
Yeah.
That way it matches. But yeah, I mean, and then when we were introduced to the all blacks, that was obviously a favorite. I know we didn't really have a good record, in the start. In the start of those. Yeah, it's a fan favorite for sure. But I mean, I don't really think too many, guys take too much, notice into what they're wearing. I mean, but when you're playing division games, you just want to look good, and you want to feel good. And I feel like a lot of times, on the road, just wearing the classic all whites against division opponents. I mean, especially for me, like if we're playing, Tampa, and it's an away game, and we're wearing all white. And so I remember one game they were wearing white pants and red tops or something like that. And I didn't like that because as a ball carrier, you just don't want to see. You want to know who's on your team,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So like if you're seeing similar colors out there, you're like, which was which. So at the end of the day, I just want to be able to decipher from who is who's on my team and who's on your team. So whenever we wore silver pants, I already knew, what the deal was.
Going down. Now I will say that black on black that they revealed is really not even that old. It's fairly new because they didn't start out with the black on black. That just came out really probably during your era because I don't remember it being there before then. And they really do it once or twice a year. But
I feel like I've worn all black maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it actually won. I remember Fox Sports ran some kind of like greatest uniform of all time bracket or something. It actually won the bracket, which to everyone's surprise, they're like, "What, Panthers?" But they're like, "Those uniforms are cold." But then somebody came around and was like, "Well, the record, and when they wear those, it's not so great."
I wonder what the record is now, though. It has to be something.
I don't even know how do you Google that? I don't even know how to. What would I type in? Like Panthers record,
Panthers record in all black unis.
Yeah, I want to say that Panthers.com maybe has the records for each jersey. Maybe that's something I can ask Darren Gant, see if he can point me in the right direction. But I mean, I don't know. I love the All Blacks, and especially if they could do that with the new black helmet, and maybe make the jerseys fit better. I think with the new helmet, that would be sick. But I don't know. My favorite is probably the one that you see Stu rocking in the Bleav in Panthers picture.
The all blues.
Right over there.
Yeah.
It's over there.
What is that? The color? What do they call that? The color rush?
I love the blue. You only see them. I think they wore it once last year. They've only got it twice this year. Heck, if you remember last year, I think like the first 9 games were white jerseys, which I absolutely hated.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not everyone loves the blues, but I do.
I can see there was an article on Panthers.com from late October 2020 where they were 3-9 all time in all black uniforms. First wearing black pants in 2012 against Denver. Again, this article's from 2020, so they've had another 3 years. I think they've only worn the all black probably another maybe 3-4 times since this.
There hasn't been a whole lot of winning in the last 3 years.
Safe to say that they probably have not.
I feel like Panther fans should probably wipe the slate clean as far as the records in the unis going forward. So
new coaching staff,
new coaching staff, new vibe, new quarterback.
So,
hey man,
says
all black might be the best record.
They've only worn all black once in prime time. That was a Monday Night Football game against New Orleans in 2018. They are 3-9 in all black. They're 3-2 all time when wearing black pants with white tops. When did they do that? I'm trying to picture that. And 1-1 all time when wearing black pants and blue tops.
I've never done that. I wasn't on the team when they did that.
I was trying to picture when did that happen? And when I think of all white, the white bottom and like the white top or whatever, it makes me think of that image of Sam Mills and Frank Wright standing on the sideline, like the beginning of week 1, game 1 of Panthers
beginning
history.
Of time.
Yeah, it's like it immediately takes me to that with those with the neck breakers, like the collars or whatever that Sam had on, them old school joints. So I'm trying to decipher this jersey schedule too. So I assume like week 3 against the Seahawks, they've got black on there, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's all black. I assume it's black top, silver bottom, I guess.
Maybe I'm just old school, but I've never liked when the away team wears its primary color. I think it should be white if you're away, and the home team should wear their primary. But that's just me.
Yeah, I can get with that. Jamie's saying most of the fan base wants to make the all black with black helmets our primary and more blue, less white. Again, I love the all black, but our record is horrific. I don't know why. But
if you make the black helmet the primary helmet, it takes away like the, I don't know, specialness of it.
Yeah. You got to keep the silver, the silver with the black logo and the stripe down. That's like the traditional. You can use that with any color combo to me. Like, so don't mess with the helmet so much. But you can find this at Panthers.com. Looks like they're going all blue week 6 and week 13. Those are both away games. And then they're kind of going back and forth. So I'd be curious to see week 18 what they're wearing against Tampa, that last game of the season there, because they got black there, but I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out. So Schuyler's been at training camp. Today was the end of day 5 of Panthers training camp, and wanted to start a new thing where primarily we get an idea from Schuyler what he's seeing out there, and for me and Stu to be able to react to it. Schuyler, give us a couple of things that have stood out to you at training camp so far while I try to figure out why I keep getting shorter in this this
I'm telling you, man.
Go get some books, man.
What is going on? Like, I feel like every time I
go see a chiropractor or something.
I'm like this. Oh my God. So what's one of the main things that stuck out to you at training camp in Spartanburg?
I mean, first and foremost, it's just the organization of everything. And I know we don't want to talk about previous regime or anything like that, but just with this coaching staff that's in place now, I mean, everything just runs so smooth, so crisp. Everyone knows where they're supposed to be at certain times. There's no wasted movement. Like, something is always happening on each area of the field at all times. You're seeing guys run through these drills very quickly. They're getting a lot of reps. And the one thing I like too is that you see the young guys are taking to this coaching very well. It's not just the coaching staff. It's the older guys. You see Jonathan Mingo literally go to Adam Thielen or DJ Chark and ask questions almost every single day. You see the same thing with Bryce and Andy Dalton. You see the same thing on the defensive side of the ball. I didn't really see that a whole lot the last 2 years. And I don't know if it was just because everyone's trying to fight for the role, and maybe it was kind of an unclear picture because you had so many battles going on, even at quarterback, where this year you kind of have set roles. You know what you're going to be doing heading into the season. So I think that's a big part. Bryce, I mean, he's looked as good as advertised. And it's only been one practice in pads, but, I mean, he has just been phenomenal in terms of knowing where to go with the ball, doesn't panic. You know, if the pocket collapses for whatever reason, he's not throwing the ball into traffic. I mean, obviously it's going to happen on occasion, but when he does throw a pick, he bounces right back. And almost every single time he's thrown a pick, which has maybe only been 3 times, I think, maybe 4, he is coming right back and just driving right down the field. So,
yeah,
I mean, he looks calm, cool, collected. Everything you see from him in these press conferences, that's exactly the way he's carrying himself on the field. And one guy I want to note, never really had him on my radar. And Frank Reich talked about him the other day, that he was somebody that impressed in OTAs, and he is looking really good. Kobe Jones, defensive end, outside linebacker type body. He blew right by Taylor Moton 2 snaps in a row, blew up the backfield. That was 2 days ago. Today, they didn't really do a whole lot because they weren't pads, but just seeing him go through the drills, I mean, he is vicious, ripping through them things. So that's a name to keep your eye out on. He's been in the league for, I think, a year. But if you want a dark or a long shot candidate, dark horse type guy that can make this roster, keep an eye on Kobe Jones.
Kind of sounds like Frankie Louvu last year in terms of.
Well, that's another one. Is Camus Grugier-Hill? Mm-hmm. That's your Frankie Louvu for this year. Camus Grugier-Hill.
We got 2.
We got 2 Frankie Louvus in the bullpen.
There's 2 Usos there. Oh, okay. Hey, get a whole family over there. It'll be fine.
Did you see what Frank called Frankie today?
Nah.
Called him the steal of the century.
Oh yeah, I did. I tweeted that a couple hours ago. Yeah, he might be right. I didn't realize Luvu had like 111 tackles or something last year. He was all over the place.
I've been trying to tell everybody, man, from day one.
You was the first one I heard that wanted a Luvu jersey.
Frankie Luvu is special. Okay, I got a jersey in the closet. I can't wait to bring it out.
Yeah,
You get a shot yet?
How do we get Frankie Luvu? Where was he at before?
Oh, God gave it to him. God gave us Frankie Luvu. That's how we got him.
Like manna from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
God said, "Don't worry about it. A lot of stuff going on right now. Y'all can't really cipher through all the mess. I'm gonna just drop this blessing in there. Make sure y'all water it, take care of it, and you'll see the fruit."
He just showed it like, "What's up, Oos?" And it was on from there. So Frankie Luvu doing his thing. I want before you went on to a different player or a different observation, Schuyler. I did pull this from Pat McAfee's show because I've been kind of just waiting for the rest of the media. I've been called crazy, like by people in the media, people in the area, friends, family. Because I'm like, look, this Panther team is going to win games. Like, I'm pretty sure they're going to win this division. Like, the more I look at it and the more I see, like what you just said, Schuyler, about how it's just formatted differently. Like, there's more structure. And we kind of
there's two Frankie Luvus coming up.
There's two Frankie Luvus on this roster. Like, I don't really see how they can mess this up. So I came across this clip. Viewer discretion is advised because Pat McAfee is on YouTube only right now, so he can still curse and stuff. He's on his way to ESPN, so we'll see how they handle that. But I got my finger on the button. I think I know where to stop. So I wanted to show this clip of Pat not only talking about Bryce, but he almost sounds surprised that Carolina's in this position. And this is something that the three of us have been kind of hollering about for a while here. Here's Pat McAfee talking about Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, okay, is being talked about because he's been announced the starter for the Carolina Panthers. Now, everybody knew the number one ever. Bryce Young, okay, is being talked about because he's been announced the starter for the Carolina Panthers. Now, everybody knew the number one overall pick is probably going to be the starter for a team that traded all the way up to number one to get a quarterback.
What?
But there is Andy Dalton on the roster who has started games before and could be a very easy situation to put the veteran in for like 3-4 games. Hey, here's kind of how this whole thing goes. Kind of ease your way into it as the number one overall guy. Everybody knows you're the guy. Andy Dalton's not the franchise guy. Everybody in this stadium, in his locker room, in the coaching staff knows that you're the guy. They announced him as a starter. They say everything he's doing is remarkable.
Yeah.
And I guess coming into the league, I talked to Chris Ballard because I asked him about the quarterback situation because we knew that the Colts were drafting a quarterback at 4. Were they going to trade up? Were they going to move? What was it going to be? He said that he knew Bryce Young was going. Everybody knew his brain was just special.
Mhm.
That's what his brain is special. And every other draft kind of going into it, you're always trying to figure out the person's brain. Is this person going to be able to handle money, pressure, NFL offenses, NFL defenses, NFL locker rooms, and also the fame and the talking that is going to come alongside all of it.
Sure.
It is not necessarily a home run with every fucker that can throw a football becoming an NFL quarterback.
I missed it. I knew it was coming. I know where it was, but I knew it was coming in there. So he got his point across.
He said what he said.
He said what he said.
He said what he said.
Thoughts on Pat here, because he's echoing what we've been saying, but now it feels like it's filtering down into the mainstream where this shouldn't be a surprise. We've watched Bryce Young play football for 3 years at Alabama at the top of his game. He's been at every high level wherever he played at Mater Dei in high school. He was the starter at Mater Dei High School in California. Like, he's always been in the spotlight. So is it really that unique that he's adapting this easily? Or like, Stu, like, how would you feel if you're a running back, you've been in the league a couple of years, Bryce Young comes in and he just starts nailing it from day one, and like he's ahead of the book, he's ahead, like what does that do to the players around him?
Man, listen, the confidence level that's going on in that locker room, like it just continues to just grow, right? I mean, you have a quarterback, you have your leader, young guy, a lot of expectations. I mean, he's killing interviews. I mean, when you see the meme, he understood the assignment. Like my man understands every single assignment, and that's how he goes about his business. And so guys gravitate to people like that. guys want to protect that. That's gold.
Hmm.
I mean, I would be surprised if he get. He got to be. I mean, at the end of the day, I think our offensive line, they're gonna protect him because they legitimately want to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll take pride in protecting this guy because of the type of guy he is, and that he understands the assignment. You know, I'm pretty sure he's in the locker room making sure he's developing personal relationships. I mean, it's kind of the same way, you know, Cam rolled. Like, you know, Cam understood the assignment in the sense of like, we're teammates, but we got to be deeper than teammates to win.
Right.
And I think, you know, to Schuyler's point, when you see guys on the sideline, veteran guys, you know, you talked about Adam Thielen, guys coming up to him, asking him questions, and him being able to, you know, point guys in the right direction. You got good guys on the team that are willing to actually lend a hand. You know what I'm saying? Lend a hand down to the younger guys because he knows that at the end of the day, we all in this together. And it starts in training camp, man. When you build bonds like that and you guys got, you know, the younger guys like that have the desire to actually want to learn and grow and be better, and don't look at, you know, the older guys as, oh, this is the old head. Like, I'm coming in to take the spot. Like, yeah, we all here to compete, but we all need each other. And that's what it seems like is going on. And I feel like that's obviously coming from Frank Wright and the coaching staff, just kind of opening that door.
I'll let Schuyler echo on that because you're actually out on the field. But I agree with Stu. It does kind of feel. I think the major difference from the past couple of years to this year is that it almost felt like college. These past couple of years, where like training camp and preseason, it felt like it was just competition. Like they were just basically competing against each other for spots, but they weren't building that cohesiveness you see at this level. Whereas what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing from beat writers and seeing from all the clips and everything else, because I don't even think we were able to have all this kind of video the past couple of years, because this year it feels like I'm getting video from all over the place in terms of seeing what's going on and everything else. This feels more like everybody knows what their role is, like going into it, and they're able to kind of put that shoe on and go, as opposed to them thinking they're fighting for a spot above where they are, I guess, and then either not getting there or getting there and not succeeding or whatever the case might be. It just felt like everyone was butting heads the past couple of years to figure out what they were. And this feels more like we're all on the same bus. Like we're all doing different jobs, but we're all on the same bus. We're all going to the same direction. Are you catching that vibe out there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and like I said, with the waste, like the no wasted movement, a lot of that has to do with Bryce. I mean, he's taken ownership of this team and this offense too. And not just that, but when I'm talking about wasted movement or wasted time, usually when you have a rookie quarterback and he's going to be your guy either week one or in the first month of the season, you're wasting so much time. Well, I shouldn't say wasting, but you're spending so much time trying to get that kid caught up to speed to where he feels comfortable within the offense, with the guys he's throwing to, who he's, you know, who's protecting him, and all that stuff, where he's at in the playbook. Bryce Young's already there. And maybe I'm just reading too much into this, but like you're talking about, Frank Reich said today, they're at the stage right now where they're challenging him to just try stuff in the red zone, just to see if he can make certain throws in certain coverages against certain looks. Or can he put the ball here against this guy? What can he do in these situations? They're trying things on practice.
That's what Frank Wright said?
Yeah.
Ooh, how's that boy special?
Like, that's
boy, a lot of special right there, man. You want to know what?
Challenge yourself on day 5 of training camp, whatever day this is.
Yeah, day 5.
Hey, coach, this is too easy.
Yeah.
Let's try some stuff that the New Orleans Saints going to run.
There's no grooming period anymore for Bryce Young. He is already up to speed, and from now until week 1, it's just about figuring out what he can do and what he can.
So what you're telling me is we got 3 Frankie Louvu's and we got Bryce Young. Man.
See, and this is why I get in arguments with people online because they're all like, temper your expectations. You don't want to get disappointed and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah.
Why?
Like, I know what I'm
Man,
seeing.
YOLO. YOLO.
You know, yeah, like I get it. Yeah, y'all tired of the Panther fans, blah, blah, blah. Y'all ain't heard from us really in about 3-4 years. Like really. Y'all ain't really heard from us in about 3-4 years. Y'all about to hear from us. Y'all about to hear from us this year. It just feels like I'm not used to having, really since Rivera was here, having a regime that knows what they are and then they're doing it. Like it sounds so simple, but they're doing it. They're doing the things they said they were going to do. And that I shouldn't have to say that that's a benefit of the coaching staff that we have here in Carolina, but it really is. Like,
Yeah.
they're not trying to shortchange anything. Like they knew what they wanted. They had a plan and they're implementing it. And Bryce Young, this guy, we haven't even seen him play with live bullets yet. And I'm running out of ways to describe him.
I mean, well, yeah.
Prince.
I mean, it's hard because like people ask all the time, like, how does Bryce Young look? How's he look? How's he look? How's he look? And I'm just like, as good as advertisers is about the only thing I can say because and I'm not trying to just make this into something like he's the next Tom Brady or anything, but like it's hard to say anything bad about him. It really is. Now, I'm not saying that he can't have an off day or he may struggle a little bit or go through some growing pains when the season comes around, but like as of today, he looks every bit of that number one pick that you went up and got. And
yeah. So you're saying his bad day is a first round number one
Average.
draft pick.
Yeah.
Bad day.
You still win.
Which
you
is
still win on
which
a bad
is
day.
you gonna still win with that type of play.
Bryce Young's bad day is about. Man, I don't know. I might get.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What's Bryce Young's bad day like?
Bryce Young's bad.
Compare
day.
him to a quarterback in the National Football League right now.
Why did Baker Mayfield's name pop in my head like just immediately?
Jesus.
It just went.
Well,
Baker Mayfield.
Bryce Young's bad days would be like Baker Mayfield's dream day.
Quote.
And maybe that's too.
That's amazing.
Schuyler Callihan, ladies and gentlemen, the quote of the training camp.
That's gonna find its way.
Please
online.
quote that.
Yeah.
My
That's
God.
gonna find its way on.
I mean, I'm being honest, like the kid does not do anything wrong 2 times.
Yeah.
That is what is so impressive.
great.
You see guys in the league that make the same mistakes over and over and over.
Man, you got me hyped, boy.
He just doesn't do it.
Didn't he? The test that they make the quarterbacks take or whatever, it's not the Wonderlic, it's something else. But didn't he like score like a 98 or something ridiculous on it? And like the next one was like, I think it was Anthony Richardson, like at 58 or something like that. But it was such a huge gap from like the rest of the quarterbacks. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
E3 test, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
S2, I think
The
maybe.
boy
It
smart.
like his processing skills or whatever. It tests those. So, yeah, Bryce Young. Like I said, my goal for Bryce, the ceiling for Bryce was for him to become the Steph Curry of the NFL. Where, yeah, he might be undersized. Yeah, he might not be the prototypical quarterback. But when it's all said and done, he has the opportunity to change the way we actually view football. Like he can change the sport because of his size and what he does. That's Steph Curry. We talked about Steph at the end of last year, how he was changing the NBA. I think that Bryce got a little Steph in him. So we'll see how that is. The main roster stuff from this week of interest is Dion Jones actually signing a 1-year deal to return to the NFC South with us, former Atlanta Falcon. He is now Carolina Panther. He is going into his 8th season. Spent the first 6 years in Atlanta, last year in Cleveland.
I got a story about him.
Let's hear it.
And I'm glad that he is coming to the Panthers. And if he plays anything like he did in 2016,
oh boy,
I don't really remember too many games, bro, but I remember this game. We just came back from Redskins. I had a pretty good day there. It was like a Sunday night football game, and you know, at the time they were the Washington Redskins, or the Commanders now.
Yeah.
But you know, we played the Atlanta Falcons, and it was just one of those games where, like, I think I probably ended up with like 40 yards or 50 yards or something like that. on like 10 carries. They literally game planned to tackle. And I feel like Dion had at least 20 tackles that game.
Oh my God.
Like we can look it up, but I'm probably over exaggerating, but he at least had like 15 or 13 tackles.
That was 2016.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, dang, he everywhere. Like, I keep hearing his name, seeing the 45, thinking to myself, why is this man wearing number 45? But, yeah, he balled out that game, man, and they beat us at least by 12. I don't know. It wasn't a fun game.
That wasn't the game that Julio went off in, was it?
No, that was in.
That was the same year.
No, that was.
Yeah, he had 13 tackles.
No, that wasn't that game.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a home game, right?
What, the one that Julio went off in? I think that was a home game.
No, the Julio game was in Atlanta. The game I'm talking about was a home game.
Oh, okay. So it would have been, if it was 2016, it would have been the same season. Yeah, the Julio game, Matt Ryan threw for 503 yards.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna pretend like that never happened. I'm trying to find if that was okay. So that says October 2nd, 2016. So I'm trying to find the
other one was 33-16 at home, and Dion had
that was the game. That was the game. 13
tackles.
All right, so it wasn't 20, but it seemed like he was everywhere.
He was a second-round pick for Atlanta in 2016. He had 118. He had 108 tackles, 11 passes defended, 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns in 2016. That was actually the year the Falcons made the Super Bowl, his rookie year. He's been to the Pro Bowl once. Went to the Browns last year. He had 44 tackles last year, 2.5 sacks. Cleveland was kind of a mess last year, though.
He had a little bit of a shoulder injury last year, so I mean, it is what it is. I think the one thing that probably a lot of people are going to overlook with the signing is very, very good pass coverage from Dion Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the one
speed, man.
That's
the reason why he was all over the place.
Well, he'll join Shaq Thompson, Frankie Louvu, Camus Grugier-Hill. Did I say that name right? Grugier-Hill? Grugier. Camus. I'm practicing now in the precinct. Camus Grugier. Hill. That's gonna give me problems.
Schuyler, who stands out in the secondary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I'll start with this because it's not as big, but CJ Henderson and Keith Taylor have made some plays. I'm not willing to say that they're there yet, but I've seen some encouraging things from them. But I would say definitely Von Bell. The way he just, commands that whole defense. We kind of saw last year with Xavier Woods how much the communication stepped up when he came to Carolina. It's like having 2 veterans back there. I forget what corner said it. I don't know if it was Dante that said it, or maybe it was JC that said there were like 2 professors back there.
Wow.
And Vaughn,
I like that.
Not only is he a really good communicator because he can be heard. There's no doubt about that. He's energetic. He can make plays on the ball. And the thing I love about him is he's got what the kids like to call, they got that dog in him.
Yeah,
he and Deuce Staley every day. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah,
I saw that on Twitter.
Have you been seeing any of that in the past at practices where you have players and going at it, barking back and forth? See, look, man, this is great, man. This is good news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is good news. We got people on the team that got the personalities, the coaching staff making them feel comfortable to come out of their shell. I love it.
And I was hoping Deuce was going to bring that. I was hoping Deuce was bringing that to Charlotte because we watched him do it in Hard Knocks last year in Detroit, and that's what kind of made me fall in love with him. I'm like, I like that. I like that kind of party.
Every single day, Deuce comes. He just comes over. He doesn't. They don't even have to say anything to each other. Deuce just comes over. Von Bell's stretching on the ground, and he just starts talking. You know what to him. And Vaughn gives it right back, and they don't stop until they start their indie drills. It's hilarious.
I think it was Vashti Hurt. Shout out to Vashti and Carolina Blitz. She had put out some video on Twitter where she mentioned that. She was like, and she was giggling. She was like, every day, Deuce goes over to Von Bell and just starts stuff with him at the very beginning of practice, like every single day. And she was just like laughing about it. But you can kind of tell, especially for the content creators that we're here for the dark times. Like, this is new for us, like, to see these kind of dynamics. We haven't seen it really since.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, all I've ever known covering the Panthers is Matt Rule in that whole era. And that was like, again, like a whole different environment. This seems
That's
more
why
like
that's why you was a hater.
Yeah.
That's why you've been a hater, man. You've been drinking the wrong Kool-Aid.
That's all they gave him. That's all they gave. I mean, that's what I was saying. I started
like a more professional environment now, and
See,
I'm not used to that.
And I'm the same here. Like, I've been a Panther fan all my life, but I've been a Bleav in Panthers host since Matt Rule started. So I started doing this podcast his first year. So all we've known is sorrow. Like, all we've known is just like complaint. Why us? Like, blah 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 blah. So whenever we get to this, and it's like everything they're doing is something fun to talk about, and I'm ready for them to start playing. Like, I'm ready to see them play against somebody.
The other thing that I've noticed too is there's accountability across the charts with this team, because when I talked to Yetur the other day, like Yetur, in times that I've talked to him before, just about anything, whether it's game or whatever, he really didn't like open up about anything. He literally told me, he's like, look, I know I've had bad games and I could have played better. And I get why people keep saying that they need to add another pass rusher. But he's like, I want people to put respect on my name, and basically said, I'm using that as motivation and fuel.
I love it.
And
yeah. That's growth.
He's not the only.
Yeah, that really is.
That's growth in that's just growth in the sense of this is, man, being in the NFL, it's a hard game. It's a hard game to compete in, to win in. And, you have so much success at the other levels, college and high school, and then you get to the pros, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is harder than I expected, especially if you have the coaching staff and the experience that that welcomed you into the league. But, I mean, man, Schuyler, I'm going to be there next Wednesday. You going to be there next Wednesday?
Oh, yeah. I'll be down there.
All right, man. So I'm going to link up with you.
I might have
to
link up with you. I'm going to get down there too then.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Some wings or something. Yeah.
The Jets the Jets are going to be down there with Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron. Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers Day.
Is there any difference in terms of being able to get in the training camp on those days when they're doing joint practices with the Jets, or you can get in just like you normally would?
I don't know.
Like fans? Yeah.
It's just as normal as usual as far as I know.
Okay. And if you guys missed it last week, Schuyler actually gave excellent tips on, if you're a fan, it's all over social media in terms of where to go if you want to really get the most out of training camp. If you're a Panther fan, like what to do, where to stand. He even went so much into stand over by that white tent, like over there. Like, you go find it, and he'll be able to help you out in terms of where to go for all of that. Jamie comments, Schuyler is sounding like we need to actually believe the hype, and we don't have to lower our expectations like we've had to the last couple of years. I mean, well, for starters, really isn't any hype. That's the first thing. Like, I don't really sense any hype around the Panthers. I think
real life.
Yeah, which is great. Like, fine. I think we're going to be horrible. That's fine with us. Like, we'll just we'll just fly under the radar until we're 10-2 or whatever. And people are like, oh, wait a minute, what's up with the Panthers? That's how it always happens. Whenever we have a great year, they ignore us until after like week 9, week 10. Then it's excuses from week 10 to week 14. This is why they have a record that they do. And then by the time they get to the end of the year, they've either bought in or they're like, oh, they're going to lose early. Once we get in the playoffs, everybody's bought in. Every single time. The 03 team, the 15 team, the 08 team, it all started every season the same way. Nobody believed us. Oh, they're pretty decent. Oh, but they're scheduled. Oh, well, wait a minute. They actually are pretty good. Oh, they might. Oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl. And then it just goes away. So, like, every year when we're good, that's what happens. So I'm kind of expecting that to happen. Panax says that they always ignore us. Why are so many Chicago Bear fans trying to start some rivalry on Twitter? You know what? I noticed that too. I don't know what that's about. Like, I keep seeing Bear fans like,
I mean,
is it because of the DJ Moore trade? Like, but it's over. We already did the trade. Like, why are they? We're not even in the same division. Like, why are they?
Speaking of Bears, they just gained another former Panther, by the way, Bravion Roy, who just got waived the other day.
Who you asked about last week, wondering if any of the quote unquote Matt Rule guys were going to stick around, and we got our answer. About 6 days. Nope. Is there anybody left that he brought in there that
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, but in terms of actual Baylor guys, I don't think there's
There was that one dude they drafted late round. It was like real fast.
He didn't even make it. They drafted him last year and he didn't make it.
Oh wow. Okay. So
I think he went to New England after that, but then don't know if he's stuck there. I'm not sure.
No, yeah, Jamie, we do always get hyped from a particular corner of the fan base. I do want to make sure that I'm not pigeonholed into that corner that says we're going 17-0 every year and all that. I'm not like that, but I can sit here and look at the roster and the coaches and what they're doing and try to make an educated guess off of the schedule that we have on what the Panthers potentially could do. That week 1 though is going to really, to me, it's really going to show what this Panthers team is going to be about all year. I don't think we're got to wait weeks to find out what they're about. We're going to know probably by halftime, like what this team is about. If everything you're saying is accurate, Schuyler, in terms of them being so on point with practice and everything else, I would think that carries over into game times, right, Stu?
Yeah.
Those habits.
Absolutely, man. So
there you have it. I mean, Panax says they should pick up Chosen Anderson. He likes Is he on the team right now?
I thought he was with the Dolphins, but
he's never going to see the field if he's with Miami. Like, does he know who's in front of him? Like, I don't know if
he's back home. He's home. He's happy.
Man,
man, look at me. I'm over here kind of in a daze because we completely almost forgot about why I'm at.
Oh, snap. That's right. You did tell me you had a. I got you. Hold on. Just hold on. I got you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why we mad, son.
Now listen, okay. Y'all see Steven Jackson's Instagram about save the running back promotion? Well, you guys should definitely go take a look at that at some point. But basically, talking about the value of the running back. Jonathan Taylor, the situation over there in Indianapolis, like, why is this happening all over the league? Like, my man's, got a little back situation. The owner comes out, says what he says about, hey, if I'm dead, tomorrow and he's not here tomorrow, no one cares. Like, what kind of nonsense is that?
Jim Irsay's weird. Like,
man, listen to me. Like, if you are an organization, like, if you're on that team and your owner is out there just being willy-nilly like that, like, come on, man. Like, I'm going to training camp and my owner's over here just like, man, I guess I'm just a number for real. Like, I thought about, the fact that, we just all numbers out here and we can be replaced, but he actually just said it out loud.
I mean,
I don't know how I would feel about that.
I mean, it is Jim Irsay, like the same guy that after they drafted Anthony Richardson tweeted something about, maybe we take Will Levis too. Like, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's next.
You think he's like cuckoo, or he just like? Do you think he's really involved? Like, what's going on?
I think he's definitely got a say in some stuff, and I've heard that he's kind of like off the wall, but I think a lot of that is just started crap.
Well, he got in trouble. Yeah. Remember a couple of years ago, he got in trouble for he had some pills or something on him,
or something
drinking. Like like I've always thought of him as just.
I don't want to bash him on his personal life, but as far
I don't know what he's doing. But this is just the stuff that's got put out there. Like, he got arrested.
Like you got a generational talent in Jonathan Taylor. Like,
26 years old.
You take him away from that offense. What do they have? Seriously,
nothing. And you got a new offensive scheme. So everybody's out there with their head cut off, trying to figure out what's going on.
Who are the wide receivers for the Colts?
Michael
Pittman.
Like, what is Irsay doing? Like, let me just go and call out the best player we have on this team and just see what happens. Let me just we could do this without you.
You really need him. You really need him, like, because without him, your passing game gonna struggle. And with him, like at least you like can get the ball to Michael Pittman.
especially with a rookie quarterback. Especially with a rookie quarterback like Richardson, you really need to have that running back there.
Man.
It's just like a safety net for him because you're going to handicap Richardson's development too by whatever nonsense you're doing with your running backs. Like ESPN ran like a little vignette thing on Sports Center or something where it was talking about how with the running backs and the stuff we talked about last week about how they've been devalued. And it made me remember who was the last running back that won league MVP?
Oh,
because it's been a while. But it used to be like every year, like it would be a running back. You know what I mean?
Did AP win one?
I think he was the last one that won.
Was that the year he crossed 2,000 yards? Was that 08, 09, something like that?
Well, it was either him or maybe CJ2K. But
Google's our friend. On the front. Who's the?
I don't know. Chris Johnson won one. I think he just put up a big year.
Adrian Peterson won it in 2012.
Yep.
And that was the year he came back after being injured.
Yep. And I want to say that's the year he crossed 2,000 yards. It was the year after he got hurt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That dude was a problem. Like, he was a serious problem.
Damn horse, boy.
Because Minnesota didn't have anything at that point when he was doing all that stuff. I remember watching that game when he broke it or when he crossed over 2,000 yards because he looked like he was going there.
Stu, what was your single season high? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Like 1,100 yards.
Which is impressive when you really think about it.
Because you were running a dual back system. Was that the year where you're sharing the rock? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then camp comes along.
And then the year we went to the Super Bowl, I got hurt and missed the last 3 games. And I ended the season with like 981. So I mean, like I was right there, about to break another 1,000.
I was trying to pull up a list. There's only been, is that right? There's only been 11 running backs that have been MVP of the league. Or no, 18. I'm sorry. There's been 18 that have won it. Jim Brown's the only running back to have won the award multiple times. He won it in 57, 58, and 65. Rest in peace to the great Jim Brown. I would have thought Emmitt Smith would have won, or Marshall Faulk. I know that.
I was going to say Marshall Faulk didn't win one.
He got one. Kurt Warner got one the other year because I love that Rams team. So like Faulk won it, I think in '99, and then when they won the Super Bowl, and then I think Kurt Warner was the MVP in '01 when the Patriots beat him in the Super Bowl. So and I can't take nothing away from Kurt Warner. He was killing it that year too. But Marshall Faulk might be the last, other than Peterson, the last one you kind of think of. Like when you think of running back MVP, like Marshall Faulk comes to my mind immediately. But it's strange.
LT had to have been close. Like he may have had to have been like a finalist or something.
Oh yeah,
he might have actually. You know, that's a good one. I want to say like 05 or because he broke 2,000 yards too, didn't he?
I thought so. Or I don't know if he broke it, but he was close.
All right, I think I gotta. They kept trying to give me videos. I think okay, so. Recently, Tomlinson won it in 06.
Okay.
Yeah, 06. Sean Alexander 2005.
We ran into him in the playoffs, the NFC Championship game. That was the game we ran out of running backs. Nick Goings got hurt. I think Hoover got hurt. Like everybody was hurt.
What was the year Steelers won, right?
Yeah, the Steelers beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Marshall Faulk in 2000. I had those reversed. Marshall Faulk in 2000. Terrell Davis 98.
Ooh.
Barry Sanders, 97. I would have thought Barry might have won it. Well, he's in Detroit. Emmett, 93. Thurman Thomas, 91. Then you start getting into the OGs, Marcus Allen, Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, OJ.
Man, Terrell Davis, his year playing running back, winning that MVP, bro. That might have been like one of the best years of like football. Like, I remember Jamal Anderson, Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
That same year, it was like both of them at the top. And I just remember the Dirty Bird, Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, I remember.
Like just like how they was just. I think they played each other in the playoffs or Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah. Denver and
that's right.
Denver and Atlanta played in the Super Bowl year '98. He went over. He had 2,008 yards. He averaged 5 point yards a carry that year. 125 yards a game.
That's
21 rushing TDs. Yeah, just killing it. 8.7 yards per catch. He was killing it that year in '98. That Adrian Peterson year in 2012, he went for 2,097 yards. That's what it was. He was flirting with breaking the record, like the overall Eric Dickerson record.
But hey, running backs aren't valuable.
Yeah, they're not valuable though. You don't need them. You can,
nope. It just depends on what plays you call at the end of the day.
Good gracious, he was averaging
Go
6
ahead and
yards.
try and drop back 70 times a game.
If I had a running back averaging 131 yards a game, like Adrian Peterson was in 2012, I'm giving that man the rock every single time. I don't care what happens. Like here,
him a private jet. Let him just sit. Hey man, you go ahead and take your time. The private jet waiting on you at the airport.
Do you like any shrimp, Mr.
People
Peterson?
don't realize that stuff has like a true lingering effect on the passing game. When you just hammer somebody 35 times up the gut, those defensive linemen and linebackers get fatigued quick.
Especially
and all of a sudden, guess what? You don't have a pass rush.
Especially late in the year when it's cold. Like defensive players like to hit. They don't like to get hit. Like as it gets colder. And we saw that in the Detroit game last year where it was like, it got comical at some points where we were just bashing them like down their throat, running the ball. You could see them almost running away from trying to tackle somebody on TV. It was the wildest thing. Donald Duck echoing what I was saying before about Jim Irsay. We don't know. Actually, we do know. We do know. And actually, he's going to be the next owner. It was Snyder. Irsay's next on that list. These owners ain't trying to mess around. Y'all messing with their money. You got to go. Especially all this talk.
Irsay, I told you to be quiet.
Yeah, what are you doing? We tried to set you up and everything. You still over chat. Running backs are barely making anything. You know, Saudi Arabia offering Callihan Mbappe close to $1 billion for a year. Yeah. Somebody offer you $1 billion, you going to Saudi Arabia to play football for a year?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm there last year. What? Last year.
As I was saying, I was like, yeah, that's too easy. It's got to be something harder than just going to play football for a year in Saudi Arabia.
Man, listen, I'll go play football. I'll go milk some cows.
For a Billy?
I'll eat mayonnaise.
You're gonna do the little Levis, are you?
Jello. Man, there's a lot of things that I would do. A lot of things I wouldn't do though.
Yeah. Look, Jamie's asking us. My dog is. I have a Chihuahua. I apologize. She's so paranoid.
That's so cute.
Jamie, come babysit for me. Come get her, please. Like, get her out of here. Jamie's saying, Jonathan, when you go to training camp, can you please teach our guys how to jump over the pile? Is that a problem? Is that an issue we've had in the past?
I think it can be done more. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I think at the end of the day, some guys don't really have the mindset to, put the ball in danger. And if you don't have the knack for it, don't do it. Because if you don't do it the right way, you're definitely bound to get a turnover.
You're going to get put on your head. Somebody's going to,
Yeah.
So there's only a few to really do it anyway. We probably got spoiled watching Cam do it like for 6 years or whatever, like dunking on people. So
I don't know why every time we get down there and I see somebody, it doesn't even have to be a Panthers game. I see someone reach. All I can think about Teddy Bridgewater getting chewed out for stunning at the ball over the goal.
Wasn't it? No, there was more to that. Remember, he ignored the call or something and like went on with the play. Something else was going on. Yeah, and it's funny too because we were making fun of Teddy because he was saying, well, we don't really practice red zone. We don't really do this. We don't do it. We were like, how's that possible? Like, there's no way. Well, come to find out, they really weren't practicing red zone. They really weren't doing these situation things. I feel like I owe Teddy Bridgewater an apology because we spent like half of a season on Bleav Panthers just like, Teddy, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Teddy? Come on, Teddy. You
got some music to serenade your apology?
You know what? I probably do, man. Teddy, I'm so sorry, man. We shouldn't have we shouldn't have clowned you. We shouldn't have been like, yo, Teddy, what are you doing? Why are you trying to dive over the end zone with that? You causing turnovers, you're losing games for us. You was just doing what you were being told. We didn't know that it was the coaching staff that was leading you astray. Although I don't know if you had much success after you left here either, but that's a whole other story. I can only apologize for what happened during your time in Charlotte. You was done wrong, Teddy. Be sorry.
Man, that was beautiful, man. I'm
Oh,
sure he'll appreciate that.
Yeah,
Hopefully
he'll-
that thing gets to him. Hopefully that message gets to
somebody
him.
tag Teddy and let him know we apologize as Panther Nation that it's okay, Teddy. You can let it go.
Yeah, I'm definitely sneaking into Krispy Kremes in Spartanburg.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, Pan X. Asking about the
This is the
Krispy
days
Kreme
of
joint.
y'all sneaking over Krispy Kreme in Spartanburg and busting out into song. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
me,
go over there and start
Toe,
singing.
Fozzie.
Yup.
And
Don't you play piano?
ready.
You play piano a little, don't you, Stu?
Oh yeah. You know,
I think you
musically inclined.
Yeah, I think you. I remember C-Mac could play a little, and
Yeah.
I remember seeing a
Who's the
clip.
better piano player between C-Mac?
Depends. You know, C-Mac, you know, his brain is like a savant a little bit.
He's got a little Bryce.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, you know, he went to Stanford, boy.
Oh yeah, that's
You
right.
just don't go to Stanford for no
Yeah,
reason.
they'll just let you in.
They'll let you in if you can play football, but you don't just choose to go to Stanford just for no reason.
That's a good point.
But like C-Mac, boy, he can. I feel like he knows a lot of songs and can retain a lot of information, a lot of songs. I play by ear, so I be playing what I be feeling.
That's harder to me. That's even harder to be able to.
I can check into a church and sit down and get right.
All right, so the gears are turning in my head. Sometime this season, we got to get a little Casio keyboard or something in front of Stu so he can kind of twinkle the keys a little bit, see what's going on. Maybe have him play the intro or something coming in.
Let's do that. We can do that.
And Pan actually lives in Spartanburg. Spartanburg must be jumping right now in terms of activity. And then when everybody leaves, it just goes. It's like the businesses and everything are like
Sparkle City is happening right now, man.
How long is training camp? It's all the way
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks. Okay, so they got all this week and then about half of next week, and then they're done. Well,
Next Thursday.
Well, gosh, by that point we'll be at the first preseason game. Is what, next week?
After the joint practice. Yep.
Is that so? The 11th,
11th or 12th, I think.
Saturday the 12th. Okay, man, that's like 10 days from now.
Yeah, everybody can't listen. Football season is here. Grab your popcorn, grab your drink. Make sure your kids sitting down somewhere ain't bothering you. It is football season.
And this is there's no more weeks without football. We got the Hall of Fame game this week. So
who's in the Hall of Fame game this year?
Don't ask me.
I mean, usually it don't matter. It's crazy.
Crap. Whoever's got Dorian.
It's Cleveland taking on the New York Jets.
Yeah. Browns. There you go.
So the Browns versus Jets. So it's crazy too because my in-laws live in Cleveland. So you have to, when you're going up there to visit, you have to drive through Canton on 77. So the Hall of Fame is right there, like on 77 when you're driving up. And the stadium they play in, the Hall of Fame game, is like right there too. And normally they use it for like high schools or something like that. So when you're driving up 77 and you go past it, it's striking how little it is. Like when you see it, because when you see it on TV, it looks big, but like when you drive past it, it's like a high school stadium sitting on the side of 77. So
you know how difficult the AFC is going to be.
You're just thinking about Rodgers, all the quarterbacks.
I'm thinking just about the Browns right now.
Some people didn't even finish last.
We forgetting about Deshaun Watson, and we forgetting about Nick Chubb. Like we thinking like
they got a squad.
Defense is solid. They can do something.
But they're in that division with the Ravens and the Bengals, and
that's what I'm saying. The division up there, man. If you playing up there, man, listen, take care of your bodies. Make sure you recovering.
Black and blue.
There'll be a lot of hitting going on, a lot of pulling and tugging.
We ain't said nothing about Pittsburgh and our boy Mike Tomlin. They're gonna be in it.
They're gonna definitely play defense. I know what they're gonna do.
We'll get into division predictions too, because you're right. The AFC East. I'm sitting there trying to figure out who's going to win the AFC East because they all really got better. And maybe not the Patriots, but it's the Patriots. So it's like I can't pick them not to win anything. So I don't know. They're going to be tough too.
Yeah, good luck.
And then the West is the same way. Chiefs.
Oh, yeah,
You
the
expect
Chiefs,
Russell
you already
Wilson
know what they doing.
You was hard on Russell Wilson and the Broncos last year. Do you expect them to have a bad year this year too with with what's his name over there?
Listen.
Emphatically, yes. Russell Wilson is
Broncos. Do we play the Denver Broncos this year?
No.
Negative.
We don't play the AFC West, thankfully.
Yeah, we ain't really got to talk about them Denver Broncos. But I do hope that Russell Wilson has a good year this year, man. I think we gave him, a lot of people gave him a hard time last year.
He deserved it.
His transition.
He deserved
People
it.
was mad about his contract. He can't do nothing about that. They gave it to him. Should be mad at the Denver Broncos, not him.
His contract looks like pennies now compared to the people that have signed since at his position.
Exactly. So it's like people getting mad about the wrong things. My man, listen, he was special in Seattle, and hopefully Denver, recovers, from last year and sees that happening for their fan base.
I've always said, and if somebody can prove me wrong, feel free. But I've always said, especially in football, when a player starts to do like this, they rarely go back this way. Like it's usually, and then they just slowly.
If you remember Russell Wilson in Seattle,
he was rough the last year he was in Seattle. Though, remember? He wasn't playing.
There were times where we're just like, oh, the Seahawks, lost. They lost the game. You wake up the next morning, they won somehow. There's a lot of magic.
Can't stand him. I can't stand him. That's what he does. He's Mr. 3rd and 11. Let me scramble around to left, to right, all over here. Let me get 13 yards. And that's he built his whole career on that. So shout out to Russell Wilson. I'm sure we'll get to him sometime this year. Anything y'all want to get in before we get out of here for the week?
No. See y'all at Fan Fest tomorrow.
Yeah. Make sure y'all drink some water, man. If y'all need some water, drink some. Go get some Nirvana. Super.
Nirvana Super. I've never seen that before.
Like, man, there's zero calories, no sugar.
Where you get
legitimate?
Yeah. Where'd you get that?
You can follow me on Instagram and click the link.
Well played. There's some Hawaiian volcanic water that I fell in love with from like some gas station. I can't remember the name. It's like Wakakia or something like that. It's in this
volcano water.
Yeah, it's like purified.
Tastes like ashes.
It tastes like heaven.
It's like heaven. It's like purified water.
Because you know how like Deer Park tastes like water out of a hose. Like when you drink it, this tastes like somebody did something to the water, and it's like really, really good. Next time I'll have like we're doing free product placement for like places today. What's going on? Show us some bags here.
Zero.
I think we're gonna
show us the bag.
Somebody help us out. We'll hook y'all up. We'll put the thing on there. And shout out to Bleav. Bleav played some of our clips on their Best of Bleav show this past week that was on Stadium. So shout out to them. And just shout out to everybody, all the hosts and former players that are on now. I think this is the first full year where all 32 NFL teams have a host, a former player attached to them. It's just amazing to see how much Bleav has grown in the 4 years that they have been here and what they've done, what they've started. So shout out to the guys over at Bleav. We'll be back next week. Follow us on Twitter, our social Twitters, the Instagrams, our social medias. You can catch Schuyler. Schuyler's
it ain't Twitter no more. Oh, X, boy.
Do you call it X? Like, do you call it X? Because I don't. I'm a rebel. I'm gonna call it.
Definitely still type in Twitter when I'm looking for my Twitter on the app.
Like, so it's not tweets anymore. It's like what?
Zeets.
That's what it's called. Zeets.
Post, I guess. As soon as I get to Twitter, they start. I avoided Twitter like the plague for years. I finally decided, hey, I need to come over here and start promoting stuff. And they just start ripping the whole thing apart.
They changed it to retweets to reposts now.
Repost? What's he doing? Why is he messing with it? I think he's trying to sell it.
It's not Twitter anymore.
It's just X.
It's called X.
It's the X factor. Like X.
This is where you get X information.
You can catch previous episodes at youtube.com/ at Tobacco Road Sports Radio. The audio will be on the Bleav Podcast Network a little bit later on. We'll be back next Tuesday. Still should be in the depths of training camp, and we'll be getting closer and closer to that matchup against the Jets. I don't think we're going to see Bryce Young or Aaron Rodgers a whole lot. Well, we'll see in the practice. We will, but in preseason, honestly, I don't want them to play Bryce Young at all in the preseason. But
after what Schuyler said, he don't need to play. He's just out there trying things in practice. And listen, we don't need to see preseason.
Let Matt Corral have a swing of things. Let him just play the whole 4 quarters. Save Andy too. Don't put Andy out there. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back next Tuesday. You've been watching and listening to the Bleav in Carolina Panthers podcast here on the Bleav Podcast Networks. Keep out it.